Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where we break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. And today we're doing Brighton against Wolves. Brighton managed to throw away a 2-0 lead because, well, bad at the football. But right now we're going to break down this first goal. I want to show you, I can't stand this when keepers try to do this sort of side volley. If you understand what I mean, is they throw the ball down and they try to sort of go to one side and try to sort of bring their foot if there's the ball, bring the foot sort of behind and through the ball to try to get some more accuracy on it. And every time I see this, because I see this is the time when I see keepers make mistakes when they're trying to do this, because what you're doing is you're changing the trajectory of the ball. And obviously, when you're kicking the ball from underneath it, there's a goalkeeper, you're kicking it up away. But when you're kicking it from behind it like this, you're changing the trajectory. It's much more flat. The problem is, though, it's a much harder technique, and this guy completely messes it up and ends up getting scored on. He wraps it down the field. Look, you can see he's in panic mode already. It is nowhere near anybody. And the Brighton guys are like, oh, well, okay, Keeps, if you're just going to give us the ball, we're just going to come and score on you. Look at all of the Wolves players as well, though. All the Wolves players are facing down the field. No one's actually thinking he's going to be doing this little sort of side swipe volley. Just look, no one is in any way, shape or form expecting that they're going to lose the ball or the keeper's going to make a mistake or they're set in any way to do anything really. And that's why I think it's so easy for Brighton to carve through Wolves so quickly from this one mistake. They drop back a little bit, but kind of don't really have any sort of shape just because such of a mess from the goalkeeper. They're trying to sort of recover. Now, I do like a bit of Danny Welbeck gets in and gets himself a goal. But it's such a simple little run. This guy is trying to cover it, trying to do the right thing, but he's just not there quick enough. And it's not really, normally I'd be saying, oh yeah, he's bad and all that, but no, it's really because of the goalkeeper's mistake and the time he has to make the transition just isn't enough. He just really can't get there. So it's a simple ball in behind. Before we talk about the little simple ball in behind, I'm going to point this out again. Look. This guy is completely and utterly backing away, and at no point trying to make a challenge here. If he does try to make a challenge, there's a good chance, guess what he does? Win the football. So he makes it easy for them just because he keeps backing away. And this little pass here is played, boom, goes across there. Welbeck comes in and he makes this little finish. But he just isolates himself and doesn't do anything. You're expecting here that you're in trouble, right? You're expecting that you want to try to get a little bit close to the ball. He doesn't even try to get close to the ball. So when this pass comes in here, boom, look, there's no point in him actually being there. They just pass around him like a traffic cone because he doesn't pressure the ball properly. He doesn't really get himself close enough an angle to do anything. Can't really track the runner. It's just no point in being there at all. Terrible defending, really. But we get a quality little finish from Danny Welbeck and gets himself a goal as he kicks it into the net box. Bosh. There we go. Wolves gave away, obviously, the ball for the first goal with a bad goalkeeping error. And don't worry, Wolves do it again. So they just win the ball back after a bit of sort of a cluster here. Little chappie's got the ball over here on the side. Now, if you constantly keep giving the ball away in the Premier League to your opponents in silly situations, you're going to get scored on. Wolves are near the bottom of the table. They are, I think they're right at the bottom of the table. But they can actually play the football. If they cut out a couple of these little mistakes, they will be okay this season. But here we go. The guy's got the ball. Where's he going to go? What's he going to do? Obviously, there's a bit of a bundle on the floor there. He looks up, right? And you can see that he looks up and he sees, like, there's a guy there. I can't really pass there. So he tries to play it backwards. But watch how shocking this is. 1, 2, sits there, looking to pass the ball. I had to watch this a couple of times because I couldn't actually believe this was this moronic. I thought that this guy was actually trying to make a pass this way and it was a terrible pass. It's not. For some reason, this delusional clown thinks he can pass the ball through these two players and get it to this guy here. And I don't know why you're stood like you're trying to receive a pass. Then the ball ends up ricocheting and comes down here. I had no idea that's what was going on. I genuinely thought this guy was trying to make a pass down here and just messed it up. No, he's trying to pass it through this tiny little gap here. Watch this. Let's move this forward. 1, 2, boom, there. See, he tries to pass it through. Like, what are you doing? That's insane. I can't believe there's people that are that dumb that are playing in the Premier League. But yes, they are. So then this little wee kid, he picks up the ball here and he just goes on a mazy run. Well, it's not a mazy run. It's just a straight run. He just turns, burns, and goes straight out into the space. Gets tracked by a player, but again, no pressure on the ball. No one's trying to win the ball. He's just running with him for the sake of running with him. 3 players now on the chase after the ball. No one's really close enough to make a tackle. No one's really close enough to do anything to him. And he just manages to roll the ball across to this little chap here. This is such a bad goal to concede on so many efforts. Okay, first off, you've got your centre-back who's gone on a mazy over here. You've got 1, 2, 3 people trying to win one football. So as soon as he stops, look, watch this, Bob. As soon as he stops, he takes all 3 of you out. No one's bothering to cover the guy in the middle. Those 3 players might not be playing. Because if you beat 1, you beat 3, because all of their actions are exactly the same. They're all over-aggressively pressuring the ball. They're all beaten as soon as you just stop and cut the ball back. And you just left the man in the middle completely and utterly unmarked. He just receives the ball ever so simply, and then all he's got to do is pick his spot. Oh, even better as well, when the guy here, who's completely out of position, runs this way to go over here, now he's running so hard to come back this way, he just gets beaten really easily again, just because he's over-aggressive, trying to make up for his first mistake, so he makes a second one. This guy just takes the time and then just slots it into the corner. It is so easy for them. That's shocking. Let's get on to the Wolves goals, because they're, well, a bit of a bumble, bit of a mess. Here we are for the first Wolves goal. And to me, this is just a sort of Sunday League goal here. Brighton's defending is terrible. There's too many people and not enough people doing anything, right? So if you look at where all the Brighton players are, they're in that little area there. 1, 2, 3 players unmarked. That basically means you've got 2 people trying to do one person's job in lots of areas. So when the ball comes across, the Brighton player is actually the first one to touch it. But then after that, the second point of contact, there just isn't anybody there. Just because I don't know what their defensive shape is, trying to bundle everybody in one sort of location in one area. Because if you don't win that first ball and get, well, winning it is not the thing I mean, is actually clearing the ball away from the danger zone. You're just creating a massive chaos, a massive melee of nonsense, right? So when this first touch happens here, second touch here, you can see the Wolves player's got it. There's no Brighton player anywhere near him to actually make a challenge or do anything, okay? Which is pretty shocking. You've got this guy's on the wrong side of him, but all of these players here end up not really doing anything. And that's the problem when you have too many players trying to do one job. Well, who's doing what? Nobody really knows. Then it's panic stations, because as soon as this guy receives the ball on the chest, no one can get close to him. Yeah, it's just a complete mess. Little bit of a touch, knocks it to his teammate, who ends up smashing it into the goal. Look at all of the Brighton players are nowhere near the ball. Absolutely nowhere near the ball. Terrible marking from the corner, really, because if there's 2 of you marking one player, well, who's the one responsible to mark the player? Because there's 2 of you. So now there's no responsibility. So all of a sudden, when everything breaks down like this, well, do I need to mark the player, or was the other guy that was with me marking the player? Well, no one's actually doing anything, because there's just a huge bundle of players. Ball ends up dropping and smashing into the net box. Terrible, really, goal to concede, because it's just sloppy. It's just a mess. Just because you think, oh, we're doing okay, we're 2-0 up, yay. No, you still have to do your jobs properly, and I don't know what sort of marking or defending that was supposed to be, but sticking everybody in the 6-yard box and hoping that you win the header isn't really necessarily a great way to try to defend a corner in the Premier League. And I'll show you a little bit from this angle, right? Because this is the guy that ends up receiving the ball. You can see the 2 players here. Watch, both of them end up charging for the ball, watch. Both of them get caught underneath it. Oh, actually, I think Wolves player might just nick it here, actually. Both players end up going away from this player marking him. And that's what I'm talking about, is those roles and responsibilities. If there's 2 players marking him, but then both players go to pressure the ball, he ends up completely unmarked and makes it really, really easy for him. Look, Dom, there we go. Now he can just receive the ball. The 2 people that were on him have just completely left him. And that's the problem when you've got 2 people marking one player. No one really marks him. And then it's just an easy goal. This is absolutely shocking. So Wolves are obviously pushing players forward. They lose possession right here. And then Brighton go on the counter-attack. 1, 2, 3, 4 against 1. Kind of reminds me of the old formations. If anybody actually knows the original formations of football, you'd have 1 defender, and then you'd have 9 strikers, and then have 1 defender, and then the other team would have 9 strikers against you. Yeah. So this poor little 1 defender, he's like panicking. There's no way on earth that he's going to defend against 4 players. So he kind of freezes, kind of a bit of deer in the headlights. But don't worry. Whoever this little wee chappie on the ball is terrible at the football. So he's got lots of options. First option is just to keep running with the ball. Second option is try to pass it in behind him. You don't want to pass it anywhere near this guy here if you can avoid it, because you've got so much support, right? The funny thing is as well is you're not really supporting the ball if you're running in front of the ball. This guy here is about to run in front of the ball. So if that's the line of the ball there, block, right? We draw a little line so we can do it properly. Blur, there. Anyone that goes in front of that line isn't really supporting you. What they're doing is it's a forward run. It's more difficult to pass to. One of these guys just needs, if he just sits there ever so slightly, it helps just go around this guy here. This is just a simple 2v1 playing tactic. If this guy runs towards him, he can't pass the ball to him because he'll end up intercepting it. So he just wants to just be supporting him as he runs, just support him so the ball can go to here and we can switch it out the other side really, really easily. He doesn't. They sort of run forward aimlessly with no real structure, and all of a sudden the ball's intercepted and it's off down the other way. The problem is when you're attacking with 4 players, you got less players down on the other side. Simple ball over the top, and now they just get to run at the goal. But again, in the Premier League, 1v1 right here, what do you think this player does? Does he try to win the ball from this guy? Does he try to attempt to actually do anything? Or does he just let him run down the field and kick the ball in the goal? Have a little think. Is he going to go towards the ball to win it? Or is he going to just let him walk down the field and kick it into the goal? Oh, look. He's walking away from him a little bit further. Is he going to continue to let him walk down the field and kick it into the goal? Or is he going to pressure him? Let's have a think. Well, if your answer was he's going to do absolutely nothing and just let this guy kick the ball into the net box, just like that, well, then you're the winner. That's all he does. He doesn't even try to win the ball back off him. This is happening more and more in the Premier League where people are dropping off in dangerous situations and letting the guy with the ball have it and just smash it into the goal. Well, overall, lucky point from Wolves really, but well fought back. Other than that, I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.